Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel, where we delve into the mind of a villain. In this entry, we'll be taking a look at Shere Khan, the villainous tiger from the 2016 Disney remake, The Jungle Book, focusing on his personality as revealed to us specifically in the film. Vicious and bloodthirsty, Shere Khan serves as the catalyst of the story, characterized by his singular goal in the film, to kill a young Mowgli, whom he projected his hatred of man upon. When he first appears in the movie at the dried-up river, he brings an atmosphere of tension and dread. All the other animals stand still in fear, kept in check only by the water truce that ensures their safety. Shere Khan's distinguishing features are the burn marks on his face and his one blind eye, both of which came from his encounter with man and his wielding of fire, or the red flower, as the animals call it. Injured in the fight, he failed to kill the young orphan boy, who was then taken in and treated as a son by a pack of wolves, led by Akela and Raksha. Shere Khan's resentment against Mowgli goes beyond just getting revenge against man for his disfigurement. That would be too simple an interpretation. By virtue of being a tiger, Shere Khan is an apex predator, with no one above him in the food chain. His name, according to Kipling, is translated from some Indian dialects as the chief among tigers. His ferocious reputation precedes him, as we see when Baloo immediately ends his friendship with Mowgli to get him to go to the village when he learns that it is Shere Khan that is hunting him. He knew previously that it was a tiger, but only became serious when Shere Khan's name was dropped. All his life, Shere Khan has never had to fear anyone, never feeling threatened or intimidated. That is, until he met the creature known as man, a creature who, unlike any that came from the jungle, is able to cause him to flee in fear. For the first time in his life, he is not at the top of the dominance hierarchy. The scars on his face and his blinded eye serve as a daily reminder of it. Not only that, his disfigurement is also a possible source of embarrassment for him, as it is likely that the tale of his encounter with man would have spread throughout the jungle. Considering that Kaa the snake was able to describe it in great detail to Mowgli when she was not even involved in the incident. So ultimately, Shere Khan's motivation is that of fear and insecurity, the fear of losing his position as the ruler of the jungle, the fear of being the prey and not the predator. In his argument against having Mowgli in the jungle, he mentions the danger that Mowgli could pose when he grows up. In his own words, "Does my face not remind you of what a grown man can do?" This half-truth conceals his true motivations, to be the one to dominate and exploit the jungle. Shere Khan saw clearly that the only way he can annihilate humanity was to act swiftly and corner them at their weakest, when they were vulnerable children. But even before meeting Mowgli, Shere Khan was already evil. Being at the top of the food chain comes the privilege of absolute power, and when left unchecked, absolute power leads to the abuse of that power. We learn this about Shere Khan when Raksha calls him out for his hypocrisy in pretending to care for the jungle, stating that he hunts for pleasure and kills for power. While it's understandable that he has to kill by virtue of being a carnivore, it appears that he does it excessively beyond what is needful for his sustenance. His methods to locate Mowgli are just as nefarious. He brutally kills Akela, the leader of the wolf pack, by throwing him off a hill, knowing that Mowgli's emotional attachment to him would cause him to return to the jungle. After killing him, he declares that he will terrorize the hills until Mowgli is his. And while his physical prowess has no equal, Shere Khan doesn't just use brute force in his quest. He first appeals to the animals on the basis of the jungle law, stating that man is forbidden in his attempt to reason with them. It is only when they didn't respond to his reasoning that he decides to use fear and intimidation to coerce them. Shere Khan also has a way with words, as we see later in the film. He compares Mowgli to a cuckoo bird's hatchlings, which are placed in the nest of other birds, and which end up stealing the nourishment of the other hatchlings, causing their death. This analogy is used as a subtle threat to Raksha, implying what would happen to her own cubs if he is denied Mowgli. But despite his negative traits, It would appear that Shere Khan still possesses some shred of honor, demonstrated by his respect of the jungle law when he postpones his quest for Mowgli due to the water truce. At the end, ironically, the same red flower or fire which scarred his face and took his eye led to his eventual demise. After a big fight that united all the other animals of the jungle, Mowgli used his cunning nature to ultimately defeat him. During the fight, it was clear that based on raw physical power alone, Mowgli stood no chance. Nevertheless, Shere Khan was so blinded by power that he ultimately brought about his own demise. This came around because metaphorically and literally, he failed to realize that he had stomped on a deadwood branch, which broke and delivered him to the raging fire below. Bloodthirsty, power-hungry, and tyrannical, Shere Khan was the representation of unchecked power, the abuse of that power, and the insecurity that comes when that power is challenged. Shere Khan's destructive force came full circle to ultimately destroy him, as it does with any tyrant who embraces power, domination, and unlimited expansion of the ego. So what do you think of Shere Khan, folks? Let me know in the comments below, along with any other characters you'd like to see here. Thanks for watching, folks. If you like this video, subscribe to see more entries like these, and you can check out other characters covered here.